without further ado,
There he
I
is. Look at
hate
this
to
guy.
cut you off. Look at that. We got Jason Smith coming to us. Presume from your hometown of Grayson, Kentucky, or do you have some other warmer climate that you escape to in the wintertime?
Well, Lord, honey, no, I ain't coming to you from Kentucky. Too cold in Kentucky. I'm coming to you from my home here in Florida. I'm
Oh,
over at Lakeland. So, yeah.
Lakeland on the other side, the headquarters of Publix, which used to be one of my
Yeah.
favorite supermarkets. But well, welcome to the Lunchbox. This is a kind of a zany show because I used to be a food critic and food writer for the big newspaper down here, the Sun Sentinel, and then I went rogue and now run this huge food Facebook group that has almost 100,000 people called Let's Eat South Florida. And we simulcast this little daily live stream show called The Lunchbox. And I'm joined here by my partners, Jeff Defo DeForest. He's a longtime veteran broadcaster and a sports guy, and Mike Luby Lubitz. But thanks for coming on. And more importantly, thank you for, I guess you're going to be taking part in this year's Visit Lauderdale Food and Wine Festival. Can you just tell us a little bit about, how that all came about, what you're going to be doing, and how many times have you visited the South Florida, Fort Lauderdale area?
Well, Lord, honey, I have been all over Florida. Listen, I'm just like a seagull. You don't ever know where you're going to find me at. So, and I'll just tell you up front, honey, I don't know much about sports, but I do watch basketball and football. But I just know they toss the ball wherever it needs to go. But anyway, they just come to watch with me so I can feed them is what it is. But yeah, so yeah, and you can't go wrong with that. I mean, honey, you got to have food when you're watching all that stuff because it wears you out cheering, for your team and stuff. But anyway, yes, so the Visit Fort Lauderdale Food and Wine Festival is going to be awesome. So I have a lot going on with that. I'll be at the barbecue on Friday night, and you never know, I might be judging. We're not
excellent. I'll be one of those. Yeah.
We can't say whether we are or not, but so I'll be there, honey, in all my shiny, glittery jackets and cowboy boots, and I'll be just walking around with a big rib in my mouth or something. But anyway. And then, of course,
you're my kind of guy because I usually walk around double fisted.
I'm like, bring on those big tomahawk steaks is what I want. I need those big old steaks, So, but yeah, it's just going to be a super fun, awesome time. Saturday is going to be a great one as well. I'm doing a stage demo, so everybody can come out and see what I'm going to be doing on stage, honey. And I guarantee you this, it'll be so good, it'll make your tongue slap your brains out. It's that good. So you'll be wanting more of that. And then, of course, I'll also be at Picnic in the Park. We're going to have during the whole weekend, we're going to have all my great apparel line there. We're going to have my candle line. We're going to have my art line there. The cookbook that is coming out this year is going to be announced. That's going to be an official announcement this weekend of when it's coming out. So that's going to be awesome. But more or less, it's all about having fun, eating, drinking, just getting together and just having a wonderful time.
That sounds awesome. Now, you say you don't know or like sports, and again, we do a blended food and sports talk show here. And because I used to be a sports writer before I went rogue and went to the buffet line of life, became a food guy. But you are from a small town of Grayson, Kentucky, and I know like you talk about the holy trinity of bourbon, bacon, and butter, but I got to add a fourth B for you, and that's betting. Because you're from bluegrass country, and that's Kentucky Derby and Churchill Downs. And Defo and I, we do a show every week out at Gulfstream Park here with the ponies. Do you like the horses and the ponies? And does that belong in one of your B's along with? Because I can't think of a better day than having some bourbon, bacon, butter, and some bets. So.
Yeah, that's one thing is Kentucky Derby is bred in every one of us. We are big horse racing people. It's just something that's always there. The horses are great. I usually go to the Derby every year, whether I'm there to cater an event or whether I'm there just being the celebrity chef on spot or whatever. But it's such an awesome, wonderful time to watch horse racing because it's the most heart-pounding 2 minutes of your life that you'll ever have, and and it's just wonderful. But I can add you a fourth B to that. I'm from Kentucky, so what does Kentucky people really do with sports? Basketball.
Basketball.
Oh, I thought you were going to say beer cheese.
Well, no, we do.
No,
Well,
that's
that's the fifth one, and we do beer cheese as well.
Yeah.
But I do a bourbon cheese.
Burgoo is another beer. So, yeah,
Burgoo.
there you go.
But
So,
honey,
yeah.
now what's better than beer cheese? Bourbon cheese. I do a bourbon
Oh, yeah?
bacon
Okay.
cheese. Oh Lord, honey, I'm telling you what, it's good. It'll make you strip off naked and run down the street. It's that good. Oh Lord.
Now, is beer cheese tantamount to baby formula in Kentucky? Because I remember being on the outskirts of Lexington, going to Keeneland one year, and this guy, seemed like he was a little bit out of it, kept insisting that we try the beer cheese.
Yeah.
And so we finally did. And I don't know. What is your thought about that? I mean,
Yeah, beer cheese is one of those things. I don't really know why it's so rooted in Kentucky because we're all about
Exactly.
bourbon, but
yeah.
it's another form of way that we can get a little bit of alcohol into our system. I'm pretty sure that's what it is. Yeah, as we say, honey, we start drinking bourbon in our bottles when we're about 4 years old. So
That's good. Hey, I wanted to hit you up one more thing because Defo is a huge fan of mint juleps and being facetious. He hates it. He thinks it's the worst.
Might be
drink
the worst
known.
cocktail ever conceived.
What's your view of mint juleps?
So mint julep, the traditional mint julep, it's just a tradition to carry one around when you're at the Derby or a horse race. They taste horrible. They're
It's like mouthwash.
They're horrible. I mean,
Why ruin good bourbon?
A mint bourbon. I'm like, I'm not sure about this. But we've actually found a way to make mint juleps really good. Is we do a blackberry mint julep, and it kind of takes that minty out of it. So, I mean, if you're going to carry it around, you got to at least drink something. So,
your palate is finally tuned because we have these mojitos down here are huge. And I went to a bar the other week and we had a blackberry mojito. And again, when they muddle those mint leaves with the fresh blackberry, that was a flavor profile I can get on board with. So, hey, Jason, I want to tell just fill people in about your background. You said you were a former cafeteria manager. What did you exactly do, and how did you transform and become the next Food Network?
Talk about ranks to riches, though, Mike. I was reading that also. I mean, from school lunch to this, fantastic. That's a huge metamorphosis.
Oh, honey, it's a story mile long, but I'll give you the short of it. It's a lot longer than a horse race, but we'll try to get it in there. So when I was cafeteria manager in the cafeteria in the school system I was in. And so I went from one of the original lunch ladies, if you so call it. Nice. But anyway, feeding these kids every single day of their life. My school, we done all home scratch meals. We done everything from scratch, feeding these kids because the county that I was in, it's a very poverty stricken county. And some of these meals, that's the only meal that these kids got was breakfast and lunch, and that was it. So I wanted to make sure that these kids were getting great meals. So that's why I went into that field. Plus, I've been cooking since I was 6 years old with my grandmother on the farm. But so it was always about food. But honey, when you work in school system, a good thing is when it snows, you get out of school. So one snowy day on a February day, we were out of school, and I thought, I'm a very competitive person. I've always wanted to be on Holiday Baking Championship, and we were like 2 seasons in. And so I just get on the computer, filled out the application, and they contacted me the next day and said, we love your background. We love what we see. We'd love to move you on the next thing. And it was like a 6-week process to get selected as one of the contestants. And then once I was selected, went on there and done Food Networks done Holiday Baking Championship and won that. And then won Kids versus Adults Holiday Edition. And then they were like, oh my gosh, you're so captivating. And people just love your accent. And they love that you're, from a small town, from a background of being in the cafeteria. We want to do a show with you. And so I was like, cool. I love television. I fell in love with it from the first day of being on camera. So we shot over to the network, a show idea, and they said, you know what? We need him to do Food Network Star. So then I went on Food Network Star and, of course, won Food Network Star, and that's how I got my contract with Food Network to have all the shows that I had. And then it just went from there. So like the horse races, I'm the only person in the food world that they consider a home cook, even though I'm trained. to win 3 competitions
Different
on Food
competitions.
Network. I'm
Wow,
still the
that
only
you're a
person.
triple crown winner. That
I'm a
is
triple
very,
crown winner. Yeah.
very, very
Yeah.
impressive. What can people see you on the small screen now? Regularly scheduled? Do you have any set
So,
scheduled shows
yeah,
now?
you can see kind of the reruns that's going on of everything I've done, but we have some new shows that just filmed. COVID, of course, threw us plumb off of filming. So, but we're getting back on track. I have a new show coming out in March that's called Twisted Classics, and it's going to be airing on A&E Network.
Oh,
So,
okay.
so now I work with a lot of the other networks. Food Network, I had my contract with them for 5 years, and then that was over. And
Oh, okay.
the Discovery bought everything out. So now we're working with other things. Like I work with NBC, ABC,
Oh, great.
Fox,
That's
all
it.
of that.
It's all about
So
the branding, baby. I mean, once you got that,
yes, honey,
you
all
got
that's right. And I
everything.
do a
Yeah.
lot with Rachel Ray too. So
Oh,
yeah.
great. She's great. I know
Yeah.
that. Well, that's fantastic. And you've got the cookbook coming out. We're talking with Chef Jason Smith. He's going to be all over the Visit Lauderdale Food and Wine Festival. That's going to be, well, it's already going on. And tonight we're going to be drinking some cocktails. I'll be one of the judges at that. The cat's out of the bag. I'll be at the barbecue battle. So will Defo and Luby. We'll all see you there. We'll be carrying around our big beef ribs, and it's going to be a fantastic time. I wanted to ask you, because I know you live on a farm in Grayson, Kentucky, I guess part of the year, and
Yeah.
I saw that you have a whole bunch of chickens.
Mhm.
I've become obsessed with the price of eggs, and actually the escalating price of eggs. Can you send
Obsessed
me
is an understatement, Jason.
It's an obsession.
Yeah.
can you just ship me some eggs so I don't have to go to the store and take out a second home equity loan or something?
Well, Lord, honey, I can tell you, I could ship them to you cheaper than you can buy in the dang store. Let me tell you,
Yeah.
honey, here in Lakeland, eggs is like $8 a dozen. And I'm like,
Yeah.
are you kidding me? I mean, I can squeeze eggs out of a chicken quicker than $8 a dozen. But, it's cheaper to feed them. I'm telling you what. So,
Well, that makes
yeah,
I imagine that makes things challenging as a baker.
it does.
How do you feel about vegan or non-butter and egg baking? Have you dabbled in it, or do you have any recipes for
Look at his
that, or
face.
is it oxymoronic?
I
Frustrated.
do. Yeah, I'm like, oh, I don't know.
Yeah,
You
he made a
wandered
face.
into the swamp, honey. So
Yeah.
I do some in the vegan and the gluten-free world, the vegan, the less sugar, the all that kind of world. I mean, it's okay if it's done right, but that stuff was put here for us to eat. So let's just eat it. But
Yeah, I mean,
I can do it all. If you need to be vegan, that's fine. I have a lot of vegan and vegetarian friends and all that, and it's wonderful. It gives me another thing to perfect because I'm
yeah.
that way. If I
Yeah,
can't do it, I'm going to perfect it.
I try not to be judgmental either, even though
Yeah.
it's garbage. So that's
That is the worst fraudulent statement we've ever had on the show.
There
He
is
tries not to be judgmental.
They have
Unbelievable.
awesome vegan butter out now, which
actually
actually
they do. Yeah,
you
no,
can't tell the difference.
Are
Some of
gluten free dirty words to a baker? I mean, like somebody comes up to you and says, "Hey, you got anything gluten free?" And you want to tell them to go,
You're like, well, honey, I'm Southern. So Southern people has a way of telling you whether you realize it or not. We smile and we say, well, bless your heart, honey. Are you really gluten free? And then you say, well, I've got this that you could try. Or there's a great gluten free place down the road, but bless your heart, honey.
There
I
you
feel
go.
sorry for you. So, yeah, we have that bless your heart thing. You never know whether we're actually really blessing your heart or whether we're telling you to go jump off somewhere.
Yeah, see, Defo and I, we're from Brooklyn, and we don't have a very good Southern hospitality. We can't BS our way through anything. The Brooklyn guys just kind of tell it like it is, but we try to be really gentle about it. So I wanted to ask because we have the Facebook group, and I asked some members if they had any questions for you, and we had one from Elena, and she said, "What is the one thing that you must bake during the Christmas season? Do you have a holiday standard?"
Yes, the one thing that I must bake during the holiday season is my all-inspiring, award-winning Yule log. So, if most people have watched me on Holiday Baking Championship, I do this Yule log. It looks like a windowsill, and then I do an isomalt window, and it looks like you're looking right into somebody's living room with their tree decorated. And so that is a must for me every holiday season. And I've done that Yule log for years, even before it won any awards on television, but that is a must that I have to have during the holiday season.
What's in that? Is that a chocolatey thing?
So it's actually pumpkin, pecan, and bourbon. So it's a pumpkin, very kind of like fall spice sponge cake. And then
Okay.
the filling is almost like a pecan bourbon cheesecake. And then, of course, it's rolled
Wow.
up and it gets this wonderful bourbon glaze on it. And then a lot of dusty snow that's powdered sugar. And it's one of those things, honey, you just want to sit in a dark room with yourself and eat it in the corner because you're going to be moaning the whole time. So,
Oh, and she had just a follow-up question. What's your feelings on panettone, the Italian fruitcake? Are you a fan, or do you wanna
I
toss
am
it
a
out the
fan.
window? Oh, okay.
I'm a fan, but I don't eat it as it comes to you in that lump
Box.
form. So
Yeah.
the best panettone that you can do is to make it into a bread pudding. It's awesome.
So,
Bread
so the
pudding.
key to the panettone is,
Yeah.
reconfiguring it into something else, because nobody could eat it just dry out of the box like
No,
that.
dry, honey.
I
Lord,
think
it's dry. It's like a burnt boot, honey. You couldn't chew it if you wanted to. But
I
honey,
could
when
soak
you
it in
get
some
enough
bourbon.
eggs, and, bourbon, eggs, cream, honey, some sugar up in there, and bake that sucker, and then put you a big bourbon caramel sauce over it. And listen, they ain't nothing bourbon can't cure, honey. I can tell you that.
Like bourbons and everything.
I've become a big brown liquor drinker again. I think the pandemic did it to me for a while. I was just on the
Mm.
clear ones. But what do you have a preferred brand, a bourbon, rye, anything? I
Yeah,
assume it's
so
Kentucky.
I have this thing. There's cooking bourbons and then there's drinking bourbons.
Mhm.
So cooking bourbons is like I use Wild Turkey 101. I use Old Forester. I use Kentucky Gentleman, which is gut rot bourbon, but it has the best flavor. Drinking bourbons, I want Angel's Envy. I want Rooster Cock. I want Basil Hayden. Those are
Basil
great
Hayden.
drinking
Very
ones. I
nice. Yeah.
work real close with a company called Rooster Cock that's out of
Okay.
Bardstown, Kentucky. It's the oldest bourbon that dates back to being bourbon. So it's a really awesome company. Yeah.
They're based in Kentucky,
Yeah,
somewhere.
they're in Bardstown, Kentucky. Honey, you can
Bardstown.
only call it bourbon if it comes from Kentucky. You might call it bourbon if you're out of the state, but there's requirements that you have to do to call it
It's
bourbon.
kind of
You
like
got
the
to have
French and
rye.
champagne.
It
Got
is,
it.
honey.
Okay. Because
There's a whole
Tennessee,
lot.
they have a couple of those, George Dickel and the
Yeah,
Jack Daniels, but that's
yeah.
Tennessee whiskey. That's different.
Whiskey.
Okay.
Yeah,
We don't
yeah.
talk about that. All right. Well, I am so grateful that you were able to join us today. I look forward to meeting you in the flesh in a couple of days at the Smithfield barbecue battle. Do you dabble in the arts of smoking and barbecue
I
and grilled
do.
meats?
I
Yeah.
actually am savory and sweet. I do both. So smoking barbecue is one of my favorite things in life. I mean, I will barbecue. I will smoke anything that you can shoot, kill, or bring to me. I will figure out a way to smoke it. I mean, I grew up on deer meat and raccoon and groundhog and squirrels and rabbits. So yeah,
So
all that great stuff. So
it's all biscuits and gravy from here then. That's all
Lord,
good.
honey, yes, yes.
All right. Well, it's been a pleasure getting to chat with you today, and I hope that our Lunchbox audience appreciated it. Jason, thank you so much from the bottom of my Brooklyn heart. Bless your heart. No,
Well, thank you. It was
no,
wonderful.
that's
Thank
sincere, not to
y'all.
meant to be. Well, I am truly grateful.
All of a sudden, he morphed into Joel Osteen on the show. Unbelievable. He never
Yes,
did that with
thank-
anybody. He obviously was starstruck here, Jason.
And
Great to have
again,
you on.
everybody, all the tickets for the ticketed events are sold out.
Yeah.
Phil and Kate did a fantastic job, and I'm glad that the Lunchbox audience has helped support the festival as well. But again, Sunday you'll be out there with all your merch, right?
Yes.
Selling, and
Oh,
that's
honey,
the
all week, but Saturday and Sunday.
Saturday and
Mhm.
Sunday will be set
Yeah.
up. Chef Jason Smith, again, then that family day is going to be fantastic because it's free
Yeah.
and it's open to all ages. Bring the kids and you come on down and you get the food trucks to get your food and purchase food there. And then also all kinds of great demonstrations and things going on. And you'll be doing a great baking demonstration at Saturday's grand tasting. I hope to see everybody there. Jason Smith, thanks so much. And I guess now is a good time to take a break.